In Monsters, David Royce gives us a collection of dark tales covering several different interpretations of what a monster could be. This collection contains 9 short stories, most between 2,000 and 8,000 words if I had to guess, and each with its own setting and set of internal logic. These are all horror stories, but they run through some other genres as well, dipping into speculative fiction in The Reckoning, modern noir in The Other Gods, and some cosmic touches in The Decker House. And there's also some body horror in a story called Last Legs. There's a nice variety in this one, with ghosts, killers, unknowable beasts, and just icky humans as well. The opening stories, Lanky and Puddle, set the tone pretty well for what's to come. While reading this book, I got strong vibes of Tales from the Crypt, and an amped up version of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I could imagine a lot of these in my head as 90s TV movies, and for me, that was a lot of fun. There's a certain amount of cheese in some of these shorts that I appreciated. The concepts in a lot of these stories were pretty dark, but the execution kept them from getting overly dour. Though that might not appeal to some hard horror readers, I think that it worked here, and I enjoyed dipping into this one. The one exception that stood out was The Reckoning, the bleakest story in the collection. This one is self-published by Royce, and so I judge it as such. One of my biggest issues with Monsters was the lack of polish. I bought this one digitally as a PDF from the author's site, and since it is self-published in digital, a lot of the issues can be addressed in subsequent editions. But the amount of typographical issues here stood out and kind of took me out of the experience here and there, which was a shame. I think getting a few more sets of eyes on this one before release could have tidied up these typos and inconsistencies. Royce has a good mind for weirdness in everyday life, and I think the strongest stories in here are the ones that feel the most grounded in reality, while also pushing the weirdness. Lanky, Puddle, Plain Jane, and I do this pretty well. I think it was a good idea to bookend the collection with Lanky and Plain Jane, as they feel almost as though they could take place in the same semi-twisted world. I'd recommend this one if you're looking for some short, fun horror stories that don't get too dark. As it is right now, do be prepared for some typographical and consistency issues here and there. It's not enough to make you stop reading, but you might notice as you go through. These selections are all relatively short, and you can zip through this one pretty quickly. If you want to check out David Royce and pick up a copy of Monsters, check out droyce.gumroad.com, and also check out his YouTube channel where he does fantastic reviews of horror and dark fiction. His stuff there is really thoughtful and concise. It's youtube.com/@horrorreads. David and I also happen to be Ooze buddies. We both had stories in Ruth Anna Evans' curated collection, Ooze, Little Bursts of Body Horror. So check him out there too. It's good stuff. What do you think, Winston? Did you like Monsters?
Monsters by David Royce gets 5 extra large cans of Monster Energy.